I wasn't even now I'm talking on the stream. Um, Facebook down, you know, three and a quarter. You're just getting a lot of red here. Look at the breadth picking up 6 to 1 on the downside, 2.5 to 1 on the Nasdaq there as well. And then you can see the tick just has been kind of getting pinned below zero. You haven't really had a lot of finishes below zero, and a little bounce coming here in the weighted sectors. There may be some, you know, a little bit of buying coming in down here at the low as people start to cover some of their shorts because we're below that T2 low now. Oh, yeah, this one. So the way that the tick works, right, is just telling you um stocks in the NYSE that are uptick versus downtick, right? And so you know, like right now there's 94 going up verse, and it's, you know, versing each other, right? Like canceling each other out, and so there's more 94 more going up, right? And it kind of keeps it basically just kind of shows you the strength in the buying or the selling, right? And selling below 1,000, especially when the market's kind of trending down like it is typically an indication that a good indication that the selling is strong. You know, if we were to bounce or something, and then you were to see price be higher, but the tick starts breaking 1,000, but we're not breaking the low, then that can give you a signal sometimes, like, okay, maybe they're selling a little bit too much, maybe they're exhausted, right? And if we, you know, if you look at it, let me just make it back to normal. So if we're looking at it here, and we're looking at the market at the same time, right? Let's say the market is right where it's at, right? But all of a sudden this tick is below 1,000. So we're not making a lower low, but there's more selling than there was last time we made a low. Sometimes that can tell you that sellers might be exhausted, and there could be, you know, maybe um, a move up. Not really on today, right? Today we're hitting 1,000 and we're making lower lows, and so typically when the tick is making lower lows and going below 1,000, that's just showing us that that continuation is going right. And if I were to switch this to to 30 minutes, so we could kind of compare it to our current bars, you know, you can see this is E period right here. That's kind of telling you who's, you know, the stocks as of right now up versus down, right? But remember, this is not weighted. That's why I have my weighted AD that I got from Shadow Trader, that kind of tells me if the weighted sectors are agreeing with each other or not. Yep. I don't know my this is Binance. What it this right here?
Yeah,
Yeah, this is Sierra charts.
cool.
I don't even know if it says I'm live on here. Hmm. So let's watch this low as we come down here. If we zoom out a bit, you can see there's a lot of previous lows at this level. Got this low over here, this low, this high. So you have a lot of, you know, probable support around this level here. I would imagine if buyers were going to come in responsibly, that's probably where they would be lurking at, in my opinion. And they're just going for it. This is cool. I would say it's also easy to edit news headlines on websites. I can take a screenshot of the Washington Post praising Brad for winning the Nobel Prize. That'd be funny. People have won the Nobel Prize for less, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes people win the Nobel Prize and you're like, what the fuck? At least that's sometimes how I feel. I'm just like, why are you getting this award?
I just put a fun one in the chat.
Uh,
You can make those. You can make stuff like that all day long.
use the buy dildos. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I've always said, um, you don't even know if a lot of these trades that people stream are real when they're streaming, these millions of dollars at a time. And that's how easy it is to edit something like that. And
If
that's
they
why
can make deep fakes where you can actually see somebody doing something and you can't even believe your eyes to say that is who you think it is. That other, I mean, all the other stuff for websites is freaking kids play.
child's play. See, child's play, guys. That's that just tells you. Just mark a quote. Ding dong. How do I make that not do that? Something I do not like. Play sound. There we go. So as the market is continuing to one time frame down, the we're taking a zoom out and kind of paying attention to where value is at or where value is developing, right? And so we zoom in to see where most of the TPOs are at, right? And so we have two TPOs here, three TPOs here, three TPOs here, and then two TPOs down here. So we have three TPOs in a very small space. Um, actually a couple of small spaces here. They're about one tick apart, which kind of makes me, distrust this level later on. So that's probably going to be a level that I'm going to write down. And it seems like that's where a lot of people got responsibly short from that point of control. So that may act as a magnet later on. It's just a number 4012 that I'll write down and pay attention to if we get, closer back to that level. Um, these single prints that were left behind right by that prior liquidation of probably the exact opposite of all of these people trying to get long up here when that C retraced and closed those singles, trapped a bunch of people, left a mechanical high, and started to sell off, right? Remember when we're looking at some of these mechanical levels, we saw them, trade all day yesterday for the most part, and then finally fix at the end of the day and then come right back up. See if we're going to get some continuation to the downside here. F period opens up. There it goes. Breaks that low by 1 tick. We got single prints still holding above there. All right. So we have a poor low now, letting us know that, maybe some responsive buying might be showing up. Remember, we are getting back below this overall balance here. Right, we're getting back, towards that low. This low would be 39.23. Kind of where I marked the low up balance there. So I mean, it could still go a pretty decent amount of ways. You could still get all the way down here to this 39.23. I think if we do spend a lot of time down in this level, especially, you see that we're below this T2 low, which is why I think we are getting a little bit of short covering here. And I think sellers are, probably trying not to spook the market back up so they can still cover at a nice spot. Nothing feels as nice as covering below the T2 level, I'm sure, if you were short. But it makes sense that they're covering here. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're done though, right? We can get this continuation. Then the more time I think that we do spend down here, the better odds become that you start to see liquidation from some of the people that were long, in the T2 levels. So as they get closer and closer to the end of the day, if it's still below this T2 low, we'll probably start taking out some lower levels. If you become a Democrat when you become president, you'll get the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh. Who knows? Yeah, I might be corrupted with power and just take over the world and be like, you know what? I am the king. And then just go on a rampage. Doesn't sound like I would do that, but you never know. Power's crazy. For NQ, entry was B, wasn't able to break the A open, confluence. Nice. Yeah, I saw that you posted in there. It looked like it looked like a good trade plan for sure. Buzz, hello. How are you doing, my friend? Apple's really leading the way down today, just getting, pretty much hammered all day. And really remember, in order for us to really be convinced of any buyers, we've got to see a cessation of one time framing. And then even then, you've still got all these single prints. So even if F period were to come up and get into some of these single prints, probably, this 39.94 looks like a pretty big level. We're not going to see, you know, um, I'm still not going to be convinced that we're just going to start trading back up towards this point of control, which is where, could be like a gravitational pull. You see, like in balance, this is kind of where it had been at, right? We combined all these days together and it was pretty much right there in the middle. Getting some lower action now. Look for a reaction at some of these levels, right? They're just prior lows and highs, some spaces that you start to see. Sometimes people start to try to jump in. Window. Looks like they're trying to push through here. Bids are on that 39.60, it looks like. So they're trying to buy, it looks like right above that 513 low. There's that low from the 512. Let's see if they get down there to that 513 low at 59.50. So close, they want it. They're trying to shove it down here. What's the deal with this thing? Boom. Like a pop-up on my screen. Trying to piss me off. Oh, here they go. Apple's breaking the low here. See if the market's gonna continue to follow. Elon just tweeted that ESG is a scam. He said Exxon is rated top 10 best in the world for the environment, social, and governance ESG by S&P 500, while Tesla didn't make the list. ESG is a scam. It has been weaponized by phony social justice warriors. Bullshit baffles brains.
What is
Even applied to
ESG?
yourself. I don't know. I have to look it up. Oh, environmental, social governance. So environmental, social, and corporate governance is a approach to evaluating the extent to which a corporation works on behalf of social goals that go beyond the role of corporation to maximize profits. So it's kind of a weak
They
low
were
here. I would say this is kind of a weak low, coming just one tick below this previous low. Just something to pay attention to. That's kind of a weak low right there.
doesn't sound like that Twitter deal's gonna go through though.
I haven't seen anything else yet. I keep solving Elon's problems on how to find the bots, and he's just not, paying attention. He needs to read my tweets, dude. What's he doing? His life.
He probably thinks you're a bot.
Oh, he definitely doesn't. I gave him the real deal. I mean, if they would just verify everybody on Twitter, then he would have no issues. You know what I mean? Like it
No,
just,
he thinks it's like 80% bots.
it probably is. And that's the thing, is like, this is what James and I were talking about yesterday, is like, um, if, well, you might get a little bit of a bounce here, guys. Be careful. The sellers are trying to move down. If they don't hold this 64 level, you could get a possible bounce up to like a 69, 70 level. Um, just a little retracement. So just be careful for it if you're short. Um, but we were talking about like how, if he does kind of expose them for being, infiltrated with 80% bots or whatever the percentage of bots, even if it's 30%, if it's anything over the 10% that they claim, Twitter's going to get absolutely crushed. And then other things are also going to get absolutely crushed. Things that involve reporting their users, right? Because that's how they project their growth. A lot of these companies is they
Right, their filings will be
ex-
fucked up.
exactly. And so, Facebook will be a big, get a big smackarooski. I mean, a lot of stuff is based off of that, based off of new users projected forward, because they're kind of, this is what companies do. They kind of pass the buck when it comes to debt. So they're like, oh yeah, we're worth this much, so we'll take this money because we'll pay you back eventually because this is our projected growth, blah blah blah. So, this kind
And
of,
that's how they sell their advertisers.
yeah. Well, right, but I'm more looking at, if Elon basically cracks the code and exposes them, that's what I'm saying. That could be the black swan that no one's looking out for, right? And I think it's gonna go down like um like Putin is gonna pass away, the market's gonna rip, and then Elon's gonna say, I'm not buying Twitter because it's 50% bought, and then the market's gonna die. And there it is. You heard it here first. It's gonna happen.
Wow, good scenario.
What's SJWS? Oh shit, hang on. Let me see. You're trying to set up TOS manually because I can't seem to figure out how to input Brad's setup. What do we use for looking at market breadth for the ES? Oh, what Elon said, yeah. Why can't you import mine? Um, you just go up to here. You just go up to this and you click setup, and then click open shared item, and then just input that URL. And so I'll share. I can't remember. Yeah, share. Copy the link. And I'll post it right here for you. Crypto Mojo, what's up, man? So here's that bounce up to 70 that I was talking about. So this is a key level. We want to pay attention to if sellers are going to come in and reoffer this area and keep trying to drag this thing down. If not, that next level up looks like 75, and if this thing starts to get a little gas and you start to see a little bit of short covering down here, it could spark a rally, right? Because I still think people are in the mindset of buying the dip, right? Nobody had kind of given up on the market yet, as far as at least the sentiment that I was kind of feeling out in the market. So seems like if they are able to get a bounce, we just got to be careful. Watch for this 70 level for it to reoffer. And then that T2 low, that 80 level, that's kind of going to be a key level. I think that they're going to want to try to keep it below so they can keep, covering their profits below the T2 low. That's the ultimate, sign of victory for some of these people, I feel like. Let me know if that's not working, Pop, and then we'll figure it out. But I just have the tick, the ADD, and the Vold up. That's all I have. As far as like the 4 charts. Yeah, it kind of feels like people want to buy the market, but nobody wants to buy Apple, or everyone's just trying to sell Apple, and it's just, dragging the market with it.
It's because they're taking all the farmers' water.
Apple is?
Yeah, they diverted all the farmers around their water to the apple plant. It's crazy.
Yeah, thanks, Crypto Mojo. Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. He was a cool dude. It's not often you get like people you can just chill with and talk about the market. Is today Wednesday? Yeah. Right? Warriors are on tonight versus the Mavs. Alex, you gonna root for the Mavs just as a Texas local, or is it just you're um rooting against them?
Man, my Suns got destroyed. I can't believe the Suns. Unreal.
I literally could not care less.
Oh, you don't watch basketball? Yeah, I like the Warriors. I mean, a lot of people give the Warriors a bunch of trash because the KD came to the Warriors. KD wanted to win a championship, so he had to come play with the best players in the NBA. And one thing that the one reason I really like the Warriors is because you have, I mean, a few players that are just technicians, right? Like Klay Thompson. If you guys know anything about basketball, his shot is just the same every single time. He's a technician. He knows his shot works and he doesn't stray away from it, right? And it comes into that thing in your strategies in life, right? Like, if you're doing something and this is how you normally do it, but for some reason, whatever time this didn't work, you don't need to change it. It's like people, a great way to put it actually, and this is something that happens to people all the time, which is why there's so many videos of it, is when people play video games and they are not improving, they look at their settings, right? They're like, oh, my sensitivity must be fucked up or else I would be better. What's Booga's sensitivity or what's the pro's sensitivity? I need to use their sensitivity. That's going to make me better at the game. And it's kind of the same way for Klay Thompson. He's just a technician. His shit is the same every time, and he knows it works. And when it does work, god damn, does it work? Like he just drains threes all day. And then you have two other players on the team, Draymond Green and Steph Curry, who are both undersized players in their positions, but utilize their strengths to be able to play up, right? Steph, you know, an undersized player. He's small. He's like 6'4", so he's got a little bit of height on him, but his shot is developed so quick, so he almost never gets blocked, and he's so creative on getting his shot up, and it really is because of all the hard work that he puts in. You know, he's in the gym all the time, putting in all this hard work. He came back from injury this year, and it's almost like he didn't miss a beat, right? He didn't come off all rusty. He came in the game and just started dropping dimes. And then Draymond Green, my favorite player in the NBA. You know, he talks a lot of trash, but he backs it up, and he's 6'8", but he guards most centers. He shut down the MVP of the NBA in the first round. Warriors, you know, just dominated Djokovic and, you know, won 4-1 pretty easily too. It was almost embarrassing. And I'm kind of glad the Suns, I mean, not glad, I guess, but I think the Suns would have been a bigger problem for the Warriors than Dallas will be. Because Dallas, like, you know, if I don't know, I think that the Warriors have an easier time with them than they would have with the Suns. So somebody's trying to buy down here a little bit, looks like, or a bunch of short covering going on down here on the 39.60. It looks like to me. There it goes. See if they can get that continuation, get that 510 low. And remember what we said, this thing could come all the way down until this, I mean, it could keep coming down even farther, but, you know, that low of balance technically for me would be that 39.24. So it could come all the way to test, you know, that previous, we can even maybe utilize that spike as some excess as a way to test into that balance if this thing keeps breaking lower. Start being careful. Bitcoin's breaking down as well. Yeah, Bitcoin set itself up to break these stops too. I even talked about shorting it with James last night, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it because I don't know, I don't trust it. And it was ended up being a good one. Son of a gun. Sorry, it looked like you addressed my question, but my wife needed me for a minute, so I missed out. No, so just scroll up, grab that link, and then go to your Thinkorswim, click setup, and then click open shared item, and then just copy or you know, control V into there, copy paste that thing in there, and click open, and it should open it. And then you just have to resave it. If you don't save it as your workspace, the next time you open it up, it probably won't be there. Yeah, shorts are good these days. Yeah, that's true. They're nice. It's almost like everybody forgot that the news was just been kind of shit all the time, and they're like, oh, let's just buy. It's like, what are you guys talking about? You guys have been like talking about how shitty the economy is for ages, and then the news comes out and it proves that what you're saying is true, and then you flip to the saying that the market is done. It's just, I don't know. Somehow every bullish pattern just fails in the middle. Yeah, I would like to see like the stats, you know. I mean, it would probably just be an impossible task where you'd have to get You'd have to get stats on like one stock or something like that. You know what I mean? Like if you had them on a bunch of things, then it would just be kind of impossible. Time doing it. I do hold a bunch of crypto actually. Yeah. And then trade it also. Yeah, I have like a bunch of BNB, a bunch of ETH, a bunch of CRO, a bunch of VeChain, a bunch of other kind of small ones too. But a lot of them are free at this point. You know what I mean? So like a lot of times when I was getting into crypto, I would buy something when it would get double, I would just sell half and then keep half for free, and then that's how I would add to the trades, to just store it in my long term basically, and like not have to worry about like something like that's happening right now, right? Like when I look over here at ETH, um, it's just getting a big kind of smackarooski, right? It was up over $5,000 close, and I uh actually wanted to sell it. I actually wanted to sell it here before we went up to 5,000. I wanted to sell it at 3,000. My brother convinced me not to do it. But I mean that's the thing. It's free at this point, so there's really no reason to not just keep holding it. And if it goes to zero, then obviously it was a bad idea. But I just don't think it's going to go to zero. It'll just have to, we'll kind of figure out where it balances out once all this geopolitical issues start winding down a bit. And if they don't, then the market could just keep going until they're worked out. You look at some of these we look at like the SPY here, and let's look at a monthly chart. You go back to oh, this thing only goes to 94. How long has SPX been around? You look at some of these times where the market was down, right, until it broke a high, and this is back in like 73. I mean, really, we could go back to like, the 20s and something like this. This is 29, let's say, and if it were to be something, let's say, of that catastrophe, and we're pretty zoomed out until it made a new high, 9,000, 8,000 days, 9,000 days. So I mean, it's not that it can't happen or that it hasn't happened before. It's just, is it going to happen now? No, I have no idea. Nobody does. But it's just something that you can't just put it out of your mind, right? And I'm using it to reference Bitcoin because Bitcoin can go much lower, right? Definitely. I think it could definitely come down to 20,000. That's what I was telling James yesterday. I think it might come down to 20K. Because it's looking like absolute shit. And so I could see something like that happening. And it's a very real possibility. So you've just got to wrap your mind around some stuff like that, right? You know, is it going to happen? It might not, but it could. And so it's not an impossibility. So you don't want to ever be telling yourself like, oh, it's not going to go that low. You know, if you're holding crypto and you have a spot where you have decided, okay, this is a time I need to get out. This is a time, you know, whatever. You've got to have those positions. If you bought crypto at, you know, 30,000 and we're getting down below, we're at 28,000 now, don't just be, or Bitcoin, I'm talking about, not crypto, but Bitcoin, you know, don't just be assuming like, oh, it's going to go back to 60K, I'm going to make 30 grand, I just need to hold on, right? One, that's just a terrible way to store money. um you know, and two, you don't know that. So, you know, you've got to understand that side of the aspect. Did it work, Pop? Let me know if it worked. If not, check, check, check. Remember, if there is a bounce, watch the 75 level again. We didn't get up there last time, but went up to that 70. But if it gets back up over that 70, that 75 level, you can see 76 right here. The volume came in. That'll be a kind of a spot we'll look to reoffer, especially at that T2 low. We should see some, you know, mechanical selling mixed with some responsive selling, which might give us a nice chance to either get into a short or to add to a short.
I think it's pretty realistic we could go down to 20. I don't know why people are saying that it won't happen. 20 was a big support for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is like it's so expensive price wise. Like when you say like, oh, how much is a Bitcoin? Oh, it's 28,000. You know what I mean? So I think they want to um I think they want to keep it that high, right? And then, you know, some people, there's a lot of commercials saying that if you don't own one Bitcoin, then you know, or that's what everyone wants to do. People used to want to be millionaires, now they want to be own one Bitcoin because they know eventually it'll be worth $1 million. I mean, it just, I don't know. Seems just like a lot, you know what I mean? Like people want to buy a Bitcoin and it's $1 million. Just seems like, but who knows? Inflation, you know, maybe like in Korea, it would be like, you know, 20,000
There's not that many
won
Bitcoins to go around.
to ride the taxi. What's that?
There's not that many Bitcoins to go around. There's only 4 million left.
Right. And so, you know, that's why the scarcity of them keeps them elevated. You know, it's just I mean, just kind of just something to wrap your head around and understand that, you know, there is these possibilities when you're doing these investments. And so if you are investing in something, even investors don't just don't have a no plan. They don't just buy and hold. They're looking for points to get in and points to get out, points where they're going to mitigate risk or hedge against risk, right? They're going to be doing some of these things. And so, you know, yeah, oh, Warren, everyone says, oh, Warren Buffett got rich because he just bought and held forever and he's old and now he doesn't know what he's doing. But if you think that he didn't buy positions and get rid of positions and then buy more positions and then change positions and then hedge and then buy more positions and then, you know, I mean, I could go on all fucking day. It's you know, you're telling yourself a fairy tale. What's an 85% drop from 69K? Like a charm. Okay, awesome. So watch this 70 level, and then like I said, that 75 level. Above that 75 level, you might get a bit of short covering, but it looks like that would be a level where you know, these sellers might try to come back in. Sneaky little foxes. Watch the 70 level, guys. And we're starting to see our first, you know, lower balance quotations intraday, right? We were talking about earlier. Use the box, right? We've got our 3 TPOs here pretty much to the same spot. So we'll just kind of group them in here. And now we're starting to get our 3 TPOs overlapping down here. Right, so should G continue up, you'd start to build a bit of value lower and start to form what would look like a double distribution, right? And so then we just, keep paying attention. Obviously we're looking for more downside still, but we have to understand that if the market starts to develop balance down here, to be careful about getting short near any lows, right? As today, getting short on these breakouts has been working so far, but that doesn't mean it's going to keep working all day. And a lot of times, traders can get onto a chart a little bit late, maybe they're getting on right now and they're like, oh, this thing's just going to keep going down. They start getting short, it bounces a little, they get short more, and then eventually they get trapped and they're like, what the Notice the tempo on the downside as well. Let me take a peek at the volume real quick. The volume's picking up. We're almost back to around the same volume that we were at yesterday. And that kind of makes me think, maybe some responsive buyers are stepping in down here, because if volume was picking up, I would imagine that there might be some continuation during that F period. I guess there was some more continuation, so we'll have to see, what the volume says here, but it does seem like these bounces are getting longer and longer. Oh shit. ETC has about 6 or 8, 85% dips. Oh, 85% drop from 69K. 10.3.
Well, just from its all-time high
What's
in its
the-
history, it's dipped.
What's the significance of
80%.
85%?
Well, whoever before had said something about 85%.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm asking.
But we didn't have all the institutions we have now, though. There's a lot of big money in it now, though, so it probably won't dip as much.
Unless those big institutions are the ones that are selling. fingers are fucking frozen. Oh,
I don't know how anybody trust any crypto right now with that Luna going down. I mean, it's one of the best projects went down in 3 days. You know, $54 billion or whatever it was.
yeah, and there's talks of people, wanting to try to do it again.
Well, there's no way Luna itself is going to come back because there's 7 trillion tokens out there. That would never happen. You'd have to fork it off and do a different token. I mean, for it to get back to $100, it would be an astronomical number. It'd be more than all the money in the world.
Right, right, and that's why I'm just like, is it? You just really have to get. You just have to get. I mean, we'd have to
But people are
get
still
big
buying it.
countries buying
That's the
it, and then
criteria.
people admitting it.
I can't believe people are still buying it.
I mean, that's a lot of times that's what people know how to do is how to buy. You know what I mean?
That's a hell of a dip to buy. 100% dip. Really sucked because Luna was my biggest holding. Really sucked.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Were you able to get out like at any time earlier? Or it was just like by the time you realized that it was like just didn't matter.
Yeah, I wasn't even on the computer when all that day, and I didn't see it until it was down to like $20.
Oh, get some water in.
What's crazy is there's so many projects on that ecosystem. I mean, it's just crazy that all those projects are just done now. I mean, got a couple hundred, like 400 or 500 projects. I mean, it's hard to believe that all those companies just done.
So we're still seeing, what looks to be, people getting down and short covering. Let's see if they can get some continuation in this G period. If the selling is still strong enough. The tempo just starts to pick up on that downside. Yeah, I mean, if the market's able to get above 70, right, we're kind of seeing these longer pushes up. If the market gets above that 70 and holds, I think it might try to test this T too high here. There should be some responsive selling here, where they sold before, but it could be, could be a bit of mechanical as well. So there's something to be looking out for. You think those companies are good ones? Had a backup plan, just went out while it was high. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, and then just yeah, when things get down to your levels, yeah, jump on them, jump on it. You know what I mean? Someone coming down here. There's an offer coming down on the 69 quarter, trying to hold the price below it. So watch that 69 quarter. Still sitting there on the 69 quarter. Yeah, and then yeah, that's another thing too. You've got to worry about the gas fees. That shit is annoying. What's going on, Tommy? I haven't have a value area low at 39.65. I want to long it really bad from there, but one time frame lower. I'm gonna sit on my hands for now. What did you say? 39.65? Yeah, it's not. I don't disagree with that because I think if we pop this 70, that target's gonna become that 79.50. It's just a matter of if there's these sellers are trying to move down, but kind of looks like they're spreading out now and just slowly trying to hold price lower. That big offer jumped back up to 75 now. It's was on this 69 right here. I think they're just trying to hold price down here long enough so they can cover all these positions. So this is gonna be that key level. I think they've got to pop this 70 in order to run the price any higher. They're struggling. Now we're seeing a big bid step up on the 69. So that these are shorter term time frame traders selling right there, right? They were selling the 69, it didn't work, and now they're gonna buy the 69. They just flip flopped. Simple as that. Those poor bastards. Now they have a poor high and a poor low. Or a weak high and a poor low. 950. Oh, I think we might go up. There was a big bid on the 75 and it's moved up to the 80 now. Yeah, right on that lower, right on that previous day's low, or big offer, I mean. Let's see if they want to go back up there and if that offer comes back down to 75. Sneaky little foxes. So they kind of held that 70 level pretty decently here. This makes me think they want to go up there and test that 80 if they can keep holding it. But remember, we know that those people that are on the 69 right there are weaker handed traders, right? They flip-flopped on the 69 short, now they're flip-flopping to the 69 long. So it really just depends on kind of what's happening. Maybe we saw the flip, but I just doubt it. I doubt that it's going to be that simple. Bitcoin getting a little bit of gas as well, coming back to a thin volume area though.
But how do you know it's the same traders? How do you know those aren't new traders?
I mean, I don't, right? I don't know for sure. This is just me assuming based off of what short term.
You spoke with great conviction.
Well, I mean, I believe that. I mean, that's what I think. I don't know for sure. Like, I couldn't tell you for sure that they're the exact same traders.
Well, makes sense.
They are shorter term time frame traders, that's for sure. Because that's larger term time frame traders don't flip flop like that. They're not going to short and then change their mind and start going long. It's just not going to happen.
It almost doesn't matter if it's like the exact same traders, right?
No, it
It's
doesn't.
just, yeah, it just more trading is piling on.
Yeah,
I don't know. Just Brett says, I'm always like, how the fuck does he know that?
well, it shows in here because you see the weakness of it. And I mean, I'm looking at the DOM as well, but it shows when they flip like, oh, why does this thing keep happening? It shows when they flip flop like that, their weakness, right? And that just kind of gives us a look at their cards, right? And we see that they've only got pocket jacks and we've got an ace king, and so it's like, I'll see the flop, you know. Does that make sense, or does nobody knows about poker?
No, it makes sense.
Yeah, so now that we're not one time framing lower, you're getting that first sign of life in the market, right? And we're seeing what looks like to be our shorter term time frame traders, our momentum traders, our pile on traders flip to the buy side for the first time today. And so, that's kind of what I was saying is on that 69 level, that's what it looked like. And if we keep holding the 69 level, it makes sense to go up there, test that 79.50. Not saying that we're going to get continuation and then fill the single prints to the upside or anything, crazy like that. But, it's just something definitely to spot when it happens and then write that number down, right? So 69. But just because we broke that cessation of one time framing to the upside doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get continuation. Now we're coming back down to that 69. Let's see how they trade this. Looks like they pulled. Nobody's moving down to fill that order there. Doesn't look like, not yet. There it goes. So somebody moved down to fill at that time. So let's see the response or the reaction after the chaos has taken place now. Well, let me look at the volume. That's what I wanted to look at. How much time do we got? We got 2 minutes left until the next period opens up, and then we will get some more information. So watch this 2507 level. If we move up to this level and you start to see us grow, or if we just skip over it and jump up above to the 75, but if we get to this area where there's this thin volume and this thing starts to gas as far as like going up in price, and our little red ticker just stays right there, then that's going to be a sign of some, momentum traders starting to pile on. And it's just going to be a competition of, are these sellers going to be willing to reoffer it up here at this kind of like 76 to 80 level, 75 to 80 level.
So is TPO relatively new? I mean, how long has it been around?
Long time.
Like hundreds of years or like 30 years?
The first time, when was it? I mean, it was definitely at least back in the 80s for sure. I don't know when it got published though. TPO. Let's type in TPO CB. $1985. So the market profile graphic was introduced to the public in 1985. So, I mean, that's when it was introduced to the public. I don't know.
So it's pretty recent. I mean, as time goes, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. It's not
There's an O's on paper, Brad. Like trading
What's
in
that?
the pit. Weren't they doing like X's and O's, kind of like a TPO on paper
Right,
in the pit, weren't they?
right. Yeah, and more like a bracket basically. And because
This is like just an advanced from what they were doing then over time, right?
right, and it's just an easier way to display the process that they were trying to track, which is that auction process. So volume picked up. We're about even with volume yesterday. So volume's picking up here down at the lows. Back below that 70 level here. Yeah, watch this 5960 level. That was a bigger level before. If we get back below that, you might see even more sellers. Yeah, H low seems a little bit mechanical to me. It's right at that G half back and right at the E low as well. It's weird looking. I get one tick lower there. The breadth is picking up here too. It's 7-1 negative on the NYSE and 3-1 on the NASDAQ. Apple's down 4%. Apple's not really near its low though. It's about $1 off its low. Everything just looks like absolute shit. Walmart got crushed again today, down another 6%.
What was down 6%?
Walmart. Target's down big too, I think, today. Yeah. Yeah, big gap down for Target. That would have been a genius play. I didn't even think about this. Yesterday when Walmart got crushed, you had to just kind of assume that Target is, basically like Walmart without the meth. So they got smashed as well. Same guidance. Target still got a gap down 139. Another gap down here, 89. Back to 2019 levels. The Target really didn't get affected by COVID too much. Actually got a pump. What's going on with this thing? So there it goes. It's starting to press a little bit lower here. Is that true? Hold on a second. Look at this. Breaking legal experts tell Fox Business that Elon Musk's refusal to go through with Twitter merger agreement could lead to Musk being thrown in jail if Twitter seeks an injunction to enforce contract that he continues to violate more now. Can you imagine?
Imagine, mate, can you?
Richest man,
Yeah,
richest man in the world going to jail.
Yeah, that's not happening.
No.
How many politicians do you have to buy to keep that from happening? I'm sure he's got a
He's
couple bucks.
too
You know.
white for that.
Yeah.
Person's going to jail who released the tweet, more like.
He's like, all right, I'll go to jail, but I need my phone. I must tweet.
Well, he does have $1 billion thing he has to pay if he backs out of the deal, but not if he finds out that that there's more than 5% bots, which there is more than 5% bots for sure.
Right. I'm just wondering if, like, what their deal is stating as far as, is there, is he breaching their contract? Because he's been he's been live like every single day this week talking about or like taking questions, I guess you could say, about basically Twitter needing to be cheaper for him to make the deal. And that's got to be some type of, when you're in a contract with someone, it's like
Yeah.
I feel like he's doing something wrong. And he's been, I mean, we've seen him post stuff that,
But that 420, when you want to buy Tesla for 420, got busted for that.
well, like, I mean, he posts things like he posted one day on Twitter, Tesla stock prices are too high. And then Tesla started to just take a shit. And then the rumor came out after, I mean, I have no idea if it was any facts to it or not, but a rumor came out afterwards saying that he was trying to push the stock lower in order to buy more shares so he could take full control of Tesla and not have to deal with like a board or anything, and he can just push his idea on it.
Maybe.
Finally, it goes. All right, there it goes. Down to that 510 low. Watch for it to hold below the 60 here on any retracement. Remember that 60 level was a big level to get below. It finally did it, but if it rebounds, it needs to get back above it. Excuse me.
I just understand how he's the richest guy in the world. I mean, Tesla hasn't sold that many cars, and SpaceX hasn't been around for that long.
It's just the valuation. Remember this spike low is all the way down here at 24. That's where we can keep seeing this continuation down here, down to 24. I mean, it's about 25 handles away, so be tough. Might be a grind like it has been pretty much for the whole day, but definitely a possibility here. What's going on with your 500 lots sitting on that 39.50 down here? Seems like they want to have a little bit of a taste what that sweet supply is like. Sellers moving down, see if they can just take it. $1,100 contracts traded on that low. They all traded on the bid. There they go. And we're getting later in the day, guys, and we're below this T2 low, so we could start seeing some liquidations come out. And it looks like that's what we're getting here. Or we can come all the way down that 29, 24 level. Watch this 39.50. That was a big level coming down right here. A lot traded on that, and there's 361 contracts sitting on that 50 right now. And the 55. Seems like sellers are being aggressive. Like they're trying to push price lower here, or at least on this way down from about 60 when we broke below that 60 level. So back to this 50 level. Let's see if any buyers try to lift the offer. Nope, sellers reoffer there. Just watching the 50 here. That offer moves out of the way. They come down. They're trying to just squeeze all the juice out. Squeeze it out. Keeping it going. $17 contracts traded on the low that time. A little bit different than the last time we made a new low. The tick is just pinned at the low. The breath is picked up. It's 11 to 1 on the NYSE and almost 5 to 1 on the NASDAQ. But like I said, it did look like sellers are trying to move down to sell it once we broke below that 60. And so that'll be a level to watch if this thing bounces. I'd like to see it stay now that we've broken that low. For me, I'd like to see it stay below the 60, or else I might just cut my short and then just call it a day. Think about just doing it now, to be honest. There's just so much room. Seller's moving down again, it looks like. Still only 17 contracts trade on that low here. Just keeps going. 344 contracts trade on the low. What do we got? Oh, still 12 minutes till the next session. Yeah, they can keep selling this thing down for sure. Keep going, guys. The Bitcoin got rejected hard off this low volume area up here as well. Still hasn't broken those lows from the 14th of May though. But that was a weekend level, I think, as well, so it's not really that easy to pay attention to. Look where it came down to, right into that gap, 25. It's cool to see stuff work out like that. A little bit of short covering going on in the futures market.
The cryptos are straight getting hammered again today. A lot of days in a row.
I mean, yeah, crypto's going to get hammered until the market stops getting hammered. You know, I mean,
Everything's down 10, 12%.
crypto had its opportunity really to become a risk-off asset, but what happens, you know, is I mean, it showed its true colors, and it's not a risk-off asset. People aren't buying it. Instead of buying stocks, they're selling it and stocks. Well, it's almost about that time, guys. We've got about 10 minutes left. About to be getting a workout in here pretty soon. Oh, there's a little bouncerooski. Watch the 50 level, and I mean, really, it's the 60 level that I've got my eyeballs tracking. I would not like to see it back up there. So much for that idea. I should have stuck with 1 and not 3. Well, ask yourself, why did you go with 3 and not 1? Like, what was the reason? Because you wanted to catch a nice gain, or because, you know, what was your actual plan itself? Was your plan 3? Then I mean, yeah, of course, every time you lose, you wish it would have been less of a loss. But if your plan was 3 and you executed your plan, that's still, you know, that's still good. If it was against your plan, then bad pop. Sellers moving down to that like 52 level, it looked like right there, trying to be like, hey, we're still here. If you come up here, I'm gonna smack you. how far away we are from that T2 low. About was that 30 points here. Notice Bitcoin didn't break that low, right? And sometimes Bitcoin's been a little bit of a leader, so just be careful here. Starting to get suspicious down here. That seller still looks like he's up there 52-ish. 53 maybe. Tesla falls off the S&P. What? Okay. Tesla falls off the S&P ESG index as Elon Musk trashes the system.
Why would he come off the ESG?
Because that's what he just, because he was, remember he was talking about earlier how Tesla didn't even make the list of like these high rated energy like saving companies or whatever on the ESG, the environmental, service group or whatever the fuck it is. And they just removed him from it. There's probably no significance. He probably doesn't even give a shit. Or maybe, I mean, maybe he cares because he did post about it, but now he just has something else to post about. So
You know, he has the most popular liked tweet
does he?
in Twitter history. Yeah, you know what it was?
Mm-mm.
It was, he said that Coca-Cola should go back to their roots. The cocaine back in Coca-Cola.
That was his
He
most
got,
liked tweet.
Yeah, I got 5 million likes. So.
Oh my god.
And that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons he thinks that there's so many bots, because he thinks the most liked tweet should be more than 2%. That's only 2% of Twitter. You think the most liked tweet on Twitter would be more like 20% or something more than 2%.
Right.
Makes sense. But I guess a lot of people want cocaine back in their Coca-Cola.
Turn it back into an energy drink. The original energy drink. Coca-Cola.
He was on the All In podcast the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, that's how our grandparents could walk to the snow boat way to school." Coca-Cola.
So we're getting lower here. Let's see if they're going to keep selling this thing down. It's your trade plan, but you have staggered targets. Oh, okay, I see. All right, Pop, we'll catch you later, man. What do they call this? The midweek rollover? People remember about the downside? All the retail traders just buying the dip today. What's up, Double R? Kive Embassy, or the U.S. reopens its Kive Embassy on Wednesday. Long duration treasuries are outperforming the S&P by 500 over 500 basis points just today. That's what risk off is. Phoenix Rising.
What else? Again?
So basically, like bonds and treasuries, basically everything's been going down, right? And normally, a lot of these things are diverging from each other, and you have like risk on and risk off assets, right? So like, if the stock market is going down, then you buy bonds, right? Because bonds aren't going to be as much growth, right? They're more of a slower growth, but tend to be a safer growth. Well, they've been getting hammered just like the market has, and so basically, there's just been nowhere to run lately. There's just been nowhere to stash your money besides, in your pocket.
Right.
Which is why you keep seeing everyone go, "Oh, I'm in cash. I'm in cash." Um, I've heard
They
that
lost
like,
20% last year.
yeah, that's tough.
Crazy times right now. I would think that the big one would be in any of the futures on like wheat, barley, and oil. That shit can't be going down.
I mean, it's
Especially
it's
wheat.
it's up. Yeah, I don't know about today. Um, Eat today.
Wheat's
Wheat's down
you got
today,
Ukraine.
but it's still up a lot.
How can it be down though?
Just down today.
What's this?
Markets don't go up every day.
Right, I guess.
All right, 30 seconds until this new period opens up. It's been good this week, yeah. Yeah, we had a guest appearance today on the stream earlier, Charles over from Pirate Trader. That was fun. Just chatted with him. Got to learn a little bit about him and see what helps him and some of his struggles as far as becoming a profitable trader. So it was pretty cool insight. All right, here we go. I period and open up with some singles. Let's see what they've got. See if we can just get continuation or if they're going to try to close it. Volume's picking up here too on the way down. We're at about 2% more volume than yesterday. Remember, we started the day about 13% less volume, and now we're more volume. So we've been picking up volume as we've been getting lower. But on that note, it is 10:30, and I am going to go get a workout in. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It should be on there. I'll share it in the Discord later once it posts. But yeah, like I said, I think that there's possibility that the market may want to come down to this previous low. I mean, we could see it all the way back down to 3,900. In reality, that's a very real possibility, and that could be where buyers are waiting to step in, right? I think that we might most likely probably see some response if we get down to that 39.30 to 39.24 from this value area low down here with that peak. This was kind of that look below balance and fail. We kind of had a look above balance and fail. We've traded all the way through. This is the low that would take us to the very low of that balance, and that's kind of why I'm targeting that level. Not saying that it has to go there, but that just is kind of my target, right? Depending upon where you draw balance, if you drew the balance here, that could be, have already been accomplished. I am looking to see late in the day where price is at. I mean, it's already kind of late in the day, but if we get a little bit later in the day and price keeps staying below this 79, we could see some more liquidation, which is kind of what I think that we're seeing here. We've seen a lot of people forcefully in this H period come in and push price lower. So there was some initiated selling, it looked like, at these lows here. And 60 is going to be kind of my key flipping point up to this 79. If we get above this 60, I think it's just going to be chop until we get above 79, if it gets above 79. If not, I mean, even if it does get above 79, honestly, you have weakness up here. Remember, value is lower, right? Overlapping I mean, really just gapping lower, but overlapping to lower from this previous kind of balance here. So there's nothing really telling us that any longs are safe except for some fades, and they've got to be, in and out kind of quick. Bitcoin, the same idea here really is just still stuck in a balance, I would say. Nothing really out of the ordinary. If it does break down below balance, right here, the 75,874, I think that's the close of our gap. Right, remember there's a CME gap down to this level, and so it would make sense maybe if it tries to close that gap. It wasn't successful over the weekend, and so we'll kind of see how that goes throughout the rest of the week. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you guys in the Discord. If you need anything, just hit me up. Make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan, and I will catch you guys later.